stopping.
What should we do once the rain stops?
When going into buildings that have been submerged, do not touch electrical facilities and make sure to ventilate, as there is a risk of gas leakage.
We should also reduce preventable damages and prepare for disasters ahead of time by following safety guidelines.
That is correct. You can receive real-time safety information through the Disaster Safety Information mobile app, 안전 디딤돌.
Thank you for all the great information. Remember, your safety is everyone's safety. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM 부산 영어방송.
The time is now 7 o'clock.
On end, we have lamented about the country's low birth rate. And yesterday, I reported that the number of births has been on an upturn for the past 13 consecutive months. As of the latest figures, the total fertility rate rose from 0.72 to 0.76. That's as of June 2025. And that might not seem like a lot, but any increase in that number, we will take happily. It might be too soon to uncork the champagne, but let's start off on a happy note on this Friday morning. I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan on Friday, September 26th on BEFM 부산 영어 방송. Good morning, listeners. I hope you're all doing well. All the wavers out there joining us nice and early on this Friday morning. And so we have been able to report on some good news on the country's record low birth rate for several months now. And the figures on newborns are climbing with the 13th consecutive month of increase in the number of births from July. So in the first 7 months of this year, first of all, like I said, the number of newborns increased by 7.2% compared to the same period last year. This is actually the highest rate of increase since record-taking began in 1981. This is overall great news. However, like many issues in the country, there is a regional aspect to it. While most regions did see an increase in births, there's a difference between the capital and the non-capital areas. For instance, Seoul's birth rate increased by 9.7%, Incheon by 11.9%, and Gyeonggi 7.8%, all well above the national average. However, most non-capital areas faltered below the national average. For example, Ulsan, Gwangju, and Cheonnam showed 5 to 6% increases, with Sejong, Gyeongbuk, and Jeju at 1 to 2%. Gangwon actually saw a drop in its birth rate by 0.5 percentage point. So this does make sense given the demographic makeup, as the capital area has a higher concentration of younger people. There are also matters like what kind of child or family support measures local governments are providing, which is at least in some part based on the state of their treasury from taxpayer funding. And it is a cycle of that, the higher a region's economically active, namely the younger population is, the more funding that region would have to allocate to these types of policies. So ultimately, everything is connected when it comes to this figure, this birth rate. And this figure is definitely an important marker of where the country is socially and economically. All right, so still, overall, I say we take it. Good news. Well, it's time for a text topic, so here we go. Have you ever tried Korean medicine? Or acupuncture? And what's your trick to getting better when you're feeling under the weather? 여러분은 한의원 다니시는지 혹은 침 맞아 본 적이 있는지? Are you into that? Some people they very much enjoy visiting 한의원s and getting acupuncture. 감기 기운 혹은 몸살이 올 때 나만의 극복 비법은 what do you to get over, whether it's like you're coming down with a cold or you're getting body aches? Let us know what your remedies are. Send your opinions into BFM's live stream live chat on YouTube. Go to the YouTube platform and type in BEFM or 부산 영어 방송. To find our channel, you can log in, subscribe, and join the lively chat on YouTube from your phone, pound 9050, 샵 9050. That's going to cost you 100 won. You can also reach me for free through Kakao Talk. Same thing there. You got to find us. BEFM 부산 영어 방송. Add us as a friend, and then you can send in your messages, photos too. The ways you can tune into our program if you're in Busan and you're inclined to use the radio. 90.5 or 103.3 FM. Like I said, we're streaming live in real time right now on YouTube. You can watch again at your leisure, and we're available on the BEFM app and also the Papang app. Easy to download. Both are free. Looking ahead to our Friday morning together, what do we have? We have Casey coming in for Foreign Press Highlights. In hour number 2, we have Professor Andrew Millard for Global Affairs. For our special interview, you have probably heard of the Nobel Prize. What about the Ig Nobel? Do you know what this is? Well, you're going to have to find out. Just in case you don't know, I want you to, I'm teasing our segment in hour number 2 for a special interview. We're going to take some lessons from the Ig Nobel Prize-winning research. It is a kind of a playful twist on the Nobel Prize. However, it is still, science-based, but maybe addressing some of those like really interesting or sometimes quirky questions we have about life. We're going to find out from one expert in hour number 2. I'll be back with news overview. It's time for news overview. The time is now 7:06 on this Friday morning. President Lee Jae-myung vows to resolve security risks and reform South Korean market. President Lee Jae-myung said that his government will resolve the geopolitical risks with North Korea and implement investor-friendly policies while introducing stricter punishment against market manipulation. Parties clash over government reorganization bill. The opposition People Power Party, or PPP, is currently holding a filibuster to block the passage of the revised Government Organization Act, as the ruling Democratic Party, or DP, is expected to vote to end the filibuster later today. Ex-President Yoon refuses attendance at 11 consecutive trials. Former President Yoon Suk-yeol has failed to show up to his insurrection trial for the 11th consecutive time, as he is due to attend the first hearing of a new trial today. Suicide figures hit 13-year high last year. The number of deaths by suicide in South Korea reached a 13-year high last year, with suicide being the top cause of death for those in their 40s for the first time. Trump signs off on TikTok deal. U.S. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order approving a deal to keep short-form video platform TikTok to continue operating in the U.S., adding that Chinese President Xi Jinping has approved the deal as well. This was News Overview. It's time for Now in Busan. We have Sejin in the studio. Let's say hi first. Happy Friday.
Hi, how nice.
Yes. We're finally on that day, so extra smiles all around. Let's get to our text topic. So do you visit the Han의원? Do you get acupuncture? And if you have any cool remedies for cold or just feeling under the weather?
I don't usually take medicine or don't go to the hospital. I want to use my own immune system to get over and to recover my body. So what I do when I'm sick is I just take vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin A, and then took everything before going to bed. Yeah. And then surprisingly it works.
Really? Well, I'm glad you're still young and healthy. So maybe that helps as well, right?
Maybe.
Okay. Well, for our first story, I hear that Busan could be the stage for a Korea-Japan summit soon.
Yes, Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba of Japan is due to visit Busan at the end of this month for summit talks with President Lee Jae-myung. And it will be the first time Busan has been selected solely as a venue for a summit, apart from side meetings that took place during multilateral events, such as the 2005 APEC summit.
Yes, so this isn't the first time that a summit has been held in Busan, but this time it might be seen as a little bit different, I hear.
Because it's the first time the two leaders are meeting solely for a summit in Busan without a larger international event around it.
Okay.
The decision to hold a summit in Busan is seen as reflecting a shared recognition that South Korea and Japan face pressing challenge of regional decline as young people move to the capitals, falling birth rates and aging populations.
Right, and politically, this could be quite symbolic for Prime Minister Ishiba, correct?
Yes, Ishiba's stepping down after the election loss, and Busan's gonna be his last trip abroad, a bit of farewell to diplomacy. At the same time, this summit puts Busan on the map in the global diplomacy. It has already proven itself with successful events like APEC and the Korean ASEAN Summit. And since summits have traditionally been held in capitals like Seoul or Tokyo, this Busan summit is viewed as a bold and new move diplomatically.
What about the presidential office? Have they confirmed it?
The presidential office said that they were working toward holding a Korea-Japan summit, but nothing has set in stone just yet.
I see. Well, we will continue to follow this story, of course. All right. With the APEC summit set to take place in Gyeongju real soon in October, I hear that Busan is also kind of gearing up for this, right?
Yes, ahead of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in Gyeongju next month, Busan has begun preparations, hoping for some spillover benefit. The city says it's lining up accommodation support and traffic control in case guests from member and invited country visit. They've been coordinating with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs since early this year, sharing details on local accommodation availability. Yes.
Yes. So I imagine that leaders are going to be actually in Busan as well. Do we know how many there might be?
Not publicly. Of city officials said attendance details are under tight security.
Yes.
So the city hall doesn't have confirmed numbers, but they do expect some guests. They're also curating tour programs, so leaders and business people can visit major attractions. And Busan police are training for motorcades and motorcycle escort.
Yes. So the hotels in their area, they must be getting ready too, right?
They are. Local hotels report inquiries and tentative proposals. One hotel said that they've had inquiries and some proposals for bookings, but no confirmed reservations yet. They're just keeping blocks of rooms on hold.
I see. Well, what about Gimhae Airport? How are they prepping for APEC?
Around 20 state aircraft carrying world leaders are expected at Gimhae Airport. Special protocols are being put in place for the operation of state aircraft, and their airport VIP lounge is undergoing refurbishment. An airport official said the crew restrictions will not apply to these flights, and Terminal 2 is being prepared exclusively for APEC use.
I see. So hopefully that will make things go even smoother. All right, next, I hear that Busan has announced its living wages for next year. So it's going to be sitting at, what's the rate? How much is it going to be?
Busan's 2026 living wage is 12,275 won per hour.
So we do need a comparison with this year and also the national minimum wage.
Yes, it's up 3% from this year's living wage. It's also 1,955 won higher than the 2026 national minimum wage. When converted to the monthly wage, standard 209 hours, that's 408,595. So 408,595won, more than the minimum wage.
Yes. So this increase, how was it decided?
The Living Wage Committee considered inflation, public sector wage trends, and national minimum wage, and household spending. The living wage is meant to ensure workers can maintain the basic standard of human and cultural life.
And how many people will actually be affected by this wage in Busan?
About 2,900 people are eligible, including city employees, public institution staff, and workers under city contract.
Okay.
The new rate will be put in place from 1st of January 2026. Busan Mayor Park Kyung-jun said the decision took into account its impact on the private sector, and that it came after in-depth discussions to make sure workers are respected and can enjoy a better life.
Yes, so thank you for going over that. Once again, that was regarding the living wage for Busan. Now let's turn our attention to Busan Port, which just played a key role in protecting seafarers' rights. So we need to hear about this.
Yes, a foreign flagged ship entered Busan Port with crew who hadn't been paid for a long time. Using Port State Control, or PSC, authorities secure full payment of about 200 million in overdue wages.
Oh, so we're talking about 200 million won. For our listeners, what exactly is the Port State Control?
It's a legal tool that lets a port state inspect foreign vessels for safety, environmental compliance, and crew working conditions. If standards are not met, the port can order fixes or detain the ship until violations are resolved.
Yes, so on this vessel, what did inspectors find?
Beyond unpaid wages, there were food and water shortages and 21 equipment failures, covering navigation, firefighting, life-saving, and pollution prevention gear. Based on that, they detained the vessel.
So I hear that they coordinated with the International Transport Workers Federation, or ITF, to speed things up.
Yes, they worked with the ITF to expedite the settlement to supply food and water, ensuring crew's welfare and safety. In short, pay is secured, safety restored, and standards enforced.
Which is definitely a good thing. So thank you for reporting on this story. All right, for a final one, I hear one of Busan's cultural spots is opening up for the holiday coming up.
Yes, Domohan will open from the 5th to the 9th of October, 10 in the morning to 6 p.m. for the Chuseok break.
Yes, so what exactly will be open to visitors?
The main building, the Sosopun Garden, designated as Busan's first living garden, plus free exhibitions at the Domohan Lounge and the cafe inside.
So Domohan, if you haven't visited, listeners, such an amazing, beautiful place right in our city. Has quite the history, right?
Yeah, it is. Once a presidential villa and later Busan's mayor residence, but returned to the public after 40 years.
Right.
As a side note, the Tulangnalag Children's Library at the main entrance will be closed, and there will not be any special festivals or programs, just a space to enjoy.
Well, what about transportation and parking?
The shuttle bus will run and the dedicated parking lot will open free of charge. For scale, in August, Domohan passed 300,000 visitors just 10 months after opening.
Yes. And if you haven't been, once again, go check it out. And I would suggest, because there's a slight hike from the main gate up to the building itself, wear comfortable shoes.
Okay.
So that's my little tip for everybody out there. I hope you get to check it out. Thank you for all the local news. We'll check in with you on Monday. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Everybody, this was Hajin. I'll be back with your traffic and weather.
Good morning.
Good morning.
굿모닝입니다.
Good morning.
좋은 아침입니다.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
Major news, local buzz, and expert takes. It's all here on Morning Wave in Busan. Brighten up your morning commute with Morning Wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
It's time for our traffic report and the weather. First up, there is congestion on the Dongso overpass from Hwangyong Ramp to the old Gaegum Tollgate. Next up, there is traffic on Byeongyonglo from the Wondong Ramp to the old Panyo Tollgate. And next, Luno Samsung-dero looks slow from Myeongji Underpass to Shino Bridge. And it's backed up on Gwanmun-dero from Bangeum Tunnel to Baegang Tunnel. Currently, it's 22 degrees Celsius under partially cloudy skies. It's expected to go up to 30 today. It is raining in the southern area plus Jeju, and it's expected to continue until tomorrow. Looking at the weather for the weekend tomorrow, here in Busan though, a low of 21, a high of 28. It's only gonna be cloudy. Okay, on Sunday, a low of 20 and a high of 24 with a chance of rain in the evening. You know what I'm referring to. This was your traffic and weather. It's time for Top Stories. We have Haley here in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well. A little busy. Ask me why. Yeah,
Why?
well, because, tomorrow is our live recording / live stage event. Woo! And guys, we have been, praying, thinking, thoughts, whatever deity you believe in. Like, please let it be nice tomorrow. And knocking on wood, I think it's going to be.
No, it went from a 40% chance of rain to 30 to 20. It's going down.
Yeah.
So everybody, if you can, make it out there. By the way, I want to give a shout out to this person. 누가 내 망고를 먹다 망고야. I love this username. I can't get away
this
from
is the
this.
cutest.
So if you're new, welcome to Morning Wave in Busan. By the way, I'm Kat, the host. This is Haley, just in case you're new. So Yes, a shout out to this person. Love the username. Let's get into our text topic. Do you visit the Hanwon?
I do. I'm a chronic ankle twister.
Oh, no.
Unfortunately. It's my right ankle. Honestly, I twisted it. Super TMI. Nobody needs to know this, but I twisted it in middle school. And the day after, my family went to Mouseland. And so I walked God knows how many steps on a twisted ankle. This was manageable because I was like 15 and stupid and healthy. But since then, I again, chronic ankle twister. But it works, I swear, because it would be so stiff and I can't even move it. And I go and they stick needles into my ankle. And then I can walk. So
it's amazing.
I'm a believer.
As am I. But we're going to jump into our top stories. Let's get the latest from the president's trip in New York.
Right. So the president actually wrapped up his 3-night, 5-day trip in New York and is on his way back to South Korea. So his last schedule was at the New York Stock Exchange, where he met with the heads of key investment firms, including Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and Morgan Stanley Capital, focusing on attracting investors to the South Korean market. So here, he dove into some detail over North Korea's military situation, going back to the whole geopolitical situation and stability on the Korean Peninsula. He did say that North Korea does seem to have secured enough nuclear weapons to sustain its regime, and that if unchecked, Pyongyang could add 15 to 20 nuclear bombs to its arsenal each year. So therefore, he underscored this 3-step plan to stop these weapons developments in the short term, reducing them in the midterm, and pushing the North's denuclearization in the long term. And we did see a blueprint for that during his General Assembly keynote speech.
Yes.
And this in this aspect was a part of his attempt to help boost the South Korean market, despite in the recent weeks we have seen record-breaking numbers, but some say it's still undervalued, the so-called Korean discount.
Yes. And he also continued his diplomatic efforts.
Right. So prior to this, President Lee met with the Polish President Karol Nawrocki on the sidelines of the General Assembly. And according to a statement from the presidential office, the two leaders agreed that since the two nations' opening of diplomatic relations back in 1989, their relations have improved and developed steadily across policy, economy, and human exchange, with South Korean firms' recent investments in cutting-edge industries, also expanding this cooperation.
Yes.
The two countries in one particular area, they've cooperated closely in the defense industry, and this seems to have been a key aspect of this meeting.
Okay.
So South Korea makes defense sales to Poland, including the sale of the K2 battle tanks, and President Lee therefore expressed hopes of expanding this to the submarine sector.
Yes.
And Poland has been working on this sector in recent years. Poland is actually undergoing an 8 trillion won naval modernization project, and South Korea's Hanwha has made a bid for this. The two presidents also exchanged insights on Korean Peninsula and the war in Ukraine, and also agreed to visit each other's countries.
That's right. Well, we briefly touched on President Lee Jae-myung presiding over the Security Council open debate on AI, but we need some details.
Right. So he struck the gavel and ordered the debate into session, and he cited Professor Jeffrey Hinton, who's an authority on AI, who said that AI at this current stage is like a baby tiger. And President Lee added his own perspective, saying that a baby tiger can grow up to be a ferocious beast that, quote, eats us up, or turn into Duffy, referencing the adorable tiger from K-pop Demon Hunters. Basically, it depends on how we use it. So if we are dragged along by this technology without preparation, then we are going to experience this extreme technological divide. He called this a silicon curtain, reference to the Iron Curtain, which would worsen inequality and inequity. So in an area where AI capacity equals national power, he said being Luddites, basically fighting against technology, trying to break technology, isn't possible, it isn't realistic. So we need to respond wisely to cooperate for everyone's benefit amidst this competition.
That's right. So that is what's happening stateside with the South Korean president. But this just in, President Donald Trump said that the pledged $350 billion investment, that we've been talking about to the U.S. by South Korea must be paid upfront.
Right. So this news just came in just about an hour ago. President Donald Trump just signed an executive order about that TikTok deal.
Yes.
And he was answering reporters' questions. So Donald Trump said that the U.S. has never been treated fairly on the global stage, but it is now doing well. And to that end, mentioned how the U.S. will receive $550 billion worth of investment from Japan and $350 billion from South Korea, quote, and this is upfront, end quote, 선불, right? So this comment is, it's important because it comes as the two countries have been struggling to a certain extent over the details of this investment package, what shape it'll take, including even a currency swap. So we'll have to keep our eyes on it.
Right. Thanks for reporting on the latest on that front. Now we're going to bring it back to South Korea domestically, where the National Assembly is torn over this government organization bill.
Right. So the Democratic Party, or the DP, introduced this Revised Government Organization Act to the National Assembly floor for a vote yesterday, and the PPP, the People Power Party, they have responded with a filibuster.
Right.
So the two parties tried to come to a last-minute agreement that failed. So with this, the DP introduced a bill for a vote, and PPP immediately struck back with a filibuster. That's 무제한 토론, starting with lawmaker Park Soo-min. The Democratic Party, for its part, immediately filed for a motion to end the filibuster, so it can vote to end this filibuster 24 hours after it starts, and it does have over the required 179 seats to end the filibuster with the Progressive Rebuilding Korea Party. By the way, if you're counting, this marks the third filibuster in the 22nd National Assembly, showing how divided the parties are.
Right. So what is the gist of this bill and why is it so controversial?
Right. So the Government Organization Act, 정부조직법, is in 4 major parts. The key part, the most controversial, is abolishing the prosecution services, 검찰청 폐지. So in its place, the government will establish a new investigation agency for serious crimes, 중대범죄수사청, that would be under the Interior Minister, and an indictment agency, 공소청, under the Justice Minister. However, these agencies will be established 1 year after the law goes into effect. So say if the law passes now. These agencies will go into effect September of next year.
Okay.
Other aspects of the bill include dividing the function of the Ministry of Economy and Finance, newly establishing a Climate, Environment, Energy Ministry, and reforming the Ministry of Gender Equality and Family.
I see. So that is, once again, the government organization bill. Now we're going to go back to the U.S. for the next few stories. Another act of political violence has taken place, this time a shooting in Texas.
Right. Unfortunately, so a gunman fired at an Immigration and Customs Enforcement Center, so an ICE center in Dallas, Texas, killed a detainee and critically injured two others.
Right.
The shooter also died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, so this was not included in the casualties I just mentioned. The shooter has been identified as 29-year-old Joshua John. No ICE officers were hurt. So according to FBI's director, Kash Patel, he said that an investigation is ongoing, but initial evidence shows this being potentially motivated by ideological motivations. So Patel posted a photo of unused ammunition, so a string of bullets from the scene, and one casing has the phrase anti-ICE on it. So that was a very clear statement. And also recently, notes written by this shooter, it indicates that he was targeting ICE agents and did not intend to harm detainees, which is the opposite of what happened.
Yes.
And by the way, this is the latest in a string of attacks on ICE facilities in recent months. And I believe the count is at 3 in Texas alone. Well, Vice President J.D. Vance said that the shooting was politically motivated. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem announced that more ICE agents and law enforcement officers will be hired, in fact, as a response to this shooting. And President Trump on Truth Social criticized the shooting as despicable, as threats to ICE officials who are just doing their jobs to remove what he called the worst of the worst criminals.
And this political polarization in the U.S. does seem to be deepening.
Right. So in the same statement on social media, President Trump said that the country has already, or the government has already declared Antifa a terrorist organization, and he will be signing an executive order to dismantle these domestic terrorism networks. So Antifa has become kind of the latest sticking point in U.S. ideological debates. So Antifa is short for anti-fascist. This actually isn't a concrete set organization.
Right.
It's used to define a broad group of people who do tend to lean toward the left, often far left, but also don't conform to the Democratic Party's platforms. So it is an ideological crackdown, and I am directly quoting White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt as one of the first major steps in Trump's promised crackdown on left-leaning political entities, and that has definitely escalated since the assassination of Charlie Kirk. However, it does raise concerns with free speech advocates because, again, Antifa is not a centralized or defined organization, so they're asking, is it okay to crack down against ideology, which would be one's thought.
Interesting. And another issue from the U.S. is the whole Tylenol autism link.
Right. And this might, it does raise questions here in South Korea as well. Not in terms of policy. South Korean government, by the way, has no plans to make these links, but people read articles and they have questions and they have concerns. So the World Health Organization rejected the claim that U.S. President Donald Trump and his Secretary of Health, RFK Jr. made about acetaminophen, the central ingredient in Tylenol used during pregnancy, heightening the risk of autism. So according to the WHO statement on Wednesday, extensive research, including large-scale studies over the past decade, they have found no consistent association. And also, the global health authorities recommend that all women continue to follow advice of their doctors or health workers who can help assess individual circumstances and recommend necessary medication. And of course, the WHO stressed that any and all medication should be used cautiously, especially while one's pregnant and particularly during the early stages.
Yes.
However, these studies have been flawed, has been discredited regarding acetaminophen and autism links. So again, we don't know what causes autism. And while RFK Jr. has vowed to find the cause by September, a lot of experts point to a combination of genetic and environmental factors.
Right. Well, thank you for going over all the top stories. And of course, we'll check in with you in hour number 2. Thank you, Haley.
Thank you.
And now it's time for our first song for this morning. This particular song, Wavers Out There, if you want to hear it live, You know where to be tomorrow, right? F1963 3시에 뵙겠습니다. 행복의 주문 by 커피소년.
버스에서 택시에서 자가용 안에서 주방에서 혹은 야근하고 있나요? 어깨는 축 처지고 다리는 쑤셔오고 머리는 천근만근 마음도 누르는데 내 속삭임으로 행복의 주문 걸어 그대 맘을 밝혀줄게요. 따라하면 돼요. 카운터 줄게요. 어렵지 않아요. 단순하긴 해도 힘이 될 거예요. 행복의 주문 하나 둘 셋 행복해져라 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 우울한 사람도 지친 사람들도 행복해져라 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 돼요. 카운터 줄게요. 어렵지 않아요. 단순하긴 해도 힘이 될 거예요. 행복의 주문 하나 둘 셋 행복해져라 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 우울한 사람도 지친 사람들도 행복해져라 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 우울한 사람도 지친 사람들도 행복해져라 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 버스에서 택시에서 자가용 안에서 주방에서 혹은 야근하고 있나요? 모두 떠난 사무실에 홀로 앉아 한숨 쉬면 늦게까지 끙끙대나요? 사랑은 언제 해봤는지 외로움에 답답함에 또 그냥 버텨내나요? 내 속삭임으로 행복의 주문 걸어 그대 맘을 밝혀줄게요.
BEFM Morning Wave in Busan Fall Outdoor Special Stage. Fall for English-friendly Busan. What does it mean to live in an English-friendly Busan? And what role does English play as Busan rises as a global hub city?
올 가을 여러분에게 영어하기 편한 도시 부산으로 가는 길을 안내합니다.
This fall, on September 27th, Saturday at 3 p.m., join us for a special outdoor stage event at F1963 Open Square, featuring a thought-provoking panel with a professional English educator, Lee Bo-young, British broadcaster Peter Bint, K-pop idol Aaron, and me, Catherine. Plus, enjoy a special live performance by Busan's English-friendly city ambassador Kim Jo-han and singer-songwriter 커피소년. BEFM Morning Wave in Busan Fall Outdoor Special Stage. Fall for English-friendly Busan.
9월 27일 토요일 오후 3시 F1963 오픈스퀘어에서 여러분을 기다립니다.
It is now time for Casey and Foreign Press Highlights. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Catherine.
Well, we had a very lively conversation off air. We were talking about like 한의원 and all the different treatments that we have tried. So you shared with me that you have been to the 한의원.
Yes.
And?
Okay.
What do you think about the acupuncture? Have you tried?
I'm not a fan.
Not a fan?
Not a fan. It's itchy. It doesn't hurt. It makes me itch. Like it's so I'm just like ready to like yank it out, you know.
Have you tried the not the like the really thin needles, but like the long, thick needle ones? They're
varieties?
Yeah.
I think I've been on the small side then. Because they weren't like there's ones that are like really long
and thick, yeah.
Oh, I've seen those. Yeah, okay, I've seen those put in people. Yeah, I have not experienced that one. Just the short little ones.
What about like puang, like the cupping?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about before. So I've done that.
Yes.
I've done that just with the cup, I guess.
Not yourself though.
No, and I wouldn't think to try that.
Right.
No, I wouldn't be like.
You had a professional working on you, right?
Of course. But the one time I had it where I guess they puncture you first.
Yes.
To release the blood. And
then they put the cup to like suck.
Yes.
Yes.
And after it was done, I saw the pillow that I was kind of laying on, and it looked like a murder scene.
Oh no!
There was like I'd never seen that much blood come out of my body, and I was like,
Did you try it again?
No. I like to keep the blood.
You like
I don't
your
like
blood.
to release the blood. Yes.
So that was your one and only time?
Yeah. And actually, for like a week or two afterwards, it really hurt. It was really sore.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, I'll pass.
Okay. There was a lot of bloodletting going on.
That was the biggest surprise. It didn't hurt at the time, but I was
but
like,
after?
oh my gosh, I donated so much blood to this pillow. It was gross. It was
All
gross.
right.
Yeah.
So.
Good morning, everyone.
Yes. Blank님, 소중한 피. My precious blood.
Yes, for sure. I like to keep it inside.
Well, we try. All right, we're going to get serious and talk about some stories about Korea from the perspective of other media outlets that are non-domestic. So
that's right.
What stories do you have for us?
Well, we're going to start with the German outlet DW, but this has been reported in a few international outlets.
Yes.
And pop quiz.
Okay, here we go.
Put you on the spot. How long can presidents serve in the United States?
So we have 4 years.
Right.
And then you can serve 2 consecutive terms or 2 terms.
2 terms total.
Total, not consecutive.
That's right.
So that means,
2 terms total.
Yeah, total.
That's according to the Constitution.
Yeah. So for a maximum, I believe, of 8 years, right?
That's right.
Okay.
And it turns out that South Korea might be looking to follow that model. So the headline is, why is President Lee urging new term limits? So this article kind of explains not just that. That's not the only one that they're looking for. But basically, the new government in Seoul is pushing for changes to the Constitution here that would let presidents stay in office for a maximum of 8 years instead of 5.
Yes.
However, this reform would not affect current President Lee Jae-myung. So it's not for him.
Yes.
It's for the future is the idea.
Right, because not President Yi per se, but,
right.
If you're the sitting president of any country and you're trying to push reform, then hopefully it would not involve you yourself,
That would be, yes, that would
the-
look like self-serving if you were to do something like that.
Right.
So basically, what they're trying to say here is the proponents of this idea, they want to synchronize presidential elections with votes for members of the National Assembly. And the reason that they explain is because this would encourage continuity of policies, greater responsibility while in office. And you might be thinking like, okay, sure. But okay, so some explanations needed. So Lee Sang-shin is a research fellow who specializes in political science at the Korea Institute for National Unification, who says members elected to the National Assembly have 4-year terms already. So that means that elections for the president and the assembly are constantly out of sync.
But some countries do this on purpose.
Sure.
So that there is a continuity. And so it's not like a whole new class of, elected officials, plus a brand new president.
Such a big turnover all at once, right?
Yeah, so I'm not arguing for or against. I'm just saying there are different systems.
Exactly. And Lee is arguing in the case of South Korea, this has led to, being out of sync, has led to political instability, divided administrations, and failed policies. There you go.
I like to argue the other side, though. But it's all about checks and balances, too, in my opinion.
Understood.
Where, that's the whole nature of you have 3 separate branches.
Right. And the idea of having the National Assembly be elected in sync with the president There are other people who argue for that. Basically, Kim Sang-woo is another former politician.
Yes.
Who actually argues that if you give the serving government a greater time to prove itself, in other words, giving them the possibility of 2 terms, you give them time to demonstrate their policies before voters have to decide whether to re-elect that particular party or whoever's in power or to kick them out. However, we have seen this party, this system where there is a little more synchronous elections in the United States. Does that system seem to be working in the U.S. in your opinion?
I'm going to say mom.
Yeah, okay, understood.
Mom's a word,
well,
meaning
understood.
I'm going to stay silent.
There's, not just from our personal perspectives,
yes.
but there's a lot of criticism that there's gridlock in Washington.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless of whether the elections are in sync or not.
That's true. So I don't know if it's going to change much.
That's it. We don't know. We don't know. And basically, we don't know if this could pass anyway, because President Lee's party is about 6 seats short of a 2/3 majority that would be needed to pass this legislation anyway. So even if he did manage to get enough votes in the assembly, then there would also need to be a national referendum that is approved by a simple majority. So that would be another part of the process. And they do say in the article that that gives the opposition party a degree of influence in that. Again, according to Lee Sang-shin, many presidents from both the conservative and progressive sides of Korean politics have been in favor of changing this system, but haven't been able to push it through.
Yes.
And he thinks that this will be difficult to push through because the opposition will resist it, because they're the opposition. So in other words, it's not going to be that easy to get done.
Right. And I hear that he wants to make other changes to the Constitution as well.
A whole bunch, yeah.
Okay.
So they say there's a proposed change to the way that the presidential elections are conducted as well. So going from a single round of voting to where if there's not a majority over 50% for one candidate, they're going to have a runoff.
Oh,
so
second round.
Yeah, that would be a big change as well. Also, there's a reform, pushing for reform in the Constitution on specific wording in passages on rights for sexual minorities, also for the government's position in regards to North Korea. So they do want to make a lot of changes.
Question, though.
Yeah.
Is there real support for these ideas from the public, from the people?
That's the part that's not clear, but according to Kim, who was mentioned in the article before, there is some support from the public, 60% apparently, in favor of the way that power is divided in the government. So there's a lot of criticism that the power structure here in South Korea gives too much power to the presidential office. So there's another proposed reform that would basically alter how power is distributed. There would be more power, individual power and responsibility for individual ministers and bureaucrats in the government ministries, so that there wouldn't be so much waiting for the president to direct what everybody should be doing. Instead, people could take more personal initiative on their own goals. So there's a lot of, we'll see what happens,
Yes. Let's move on to our next story.
Oh, this is a complete left turn.
Okay, let's take a left turn. Where are we going?
You ever been to a K-pop concert?
Oh, actually, I have. I was going to say no.
Yeah.
But I went to, it was sponsored by the city, so that the Busan One Asia.
Which is a big one.
Yeah, and this was several years back when my, girls were younger, and I had to go chaperone.
Okay, so it wasn't going for yourself.
No, it was just to make sure the little ones were safe, and they needed a ride. I had to stay throughout the concert, and then
it was a job.
It was a job, yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Why do you ask?
Well, because Business Insider, of all publications, basically takes a look at the insides of a K-pop concert. The headline is "Beautiful Boys and Merch Madness." 12 hours of K-pop heaven at 17's South Korea concert.
Oh, okay.
And this writer is based in the U.S. And she basically gives from an outside perspective what it's like to attend a K-pop concert here in South Korea. This is a whole new world for me. There's so much that I learned. I was like, what is going on? So this was a particular show in Incheon on September 14th. And are you familiar with 17?
Of course.
Okay.
But they don't have 17 members.
That's the thing that disappoints me every time I think about it.
I forgot.
Do you know how many it is?
I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say 13.
Oh, I feel there was some assistance in the background. But 13 is right. 13's right, but currently not 13. Does anybody know? 9.
9.
Because 4 of the members are serving. See, there's all kinds of things I learned. What's up? K-pop master right now.
Okay.
Yes. So they had to perform with 9 out of 13 members because 4 are serving, doing their military service.
Yes.
And the writer said it was okay. They handled it well. But that's not the main takeaway for me.
What is the main takeaway?
Oh my! You know how much this costs?
How much?
All right, I'm going to break it down for you.
Okay.
So she got. She says also. She says getting tickets required. It's a blood sport that requires an excellent internet connection.
Yes.
And lightning fast fingers.
Which I don't have.
Me neither. But I find that's not just for K-pop ticket.
It's for any
because I've never bought
days.
those. Yes, like
It's
anything we
hard.
try to get for our kids, school related, things just disappear as soon as they open.
Like seats for like the Lotte Giants.
Anything.
That's I mean, it's really difficult.
Anything. I say this applies to everything here. I don't know how people get this done. But she said she was able to get tickets 5th floor at the Asiad Stadium in Incheon.
5th floor.
Yeah.
Is that like
Nosebleeds.
nosebleed?
Yeah.
Nosebleed seat.
But she said it was like a clear view of the center of the stage. The cost of one ticket, 132,000 won.
Oh.
So that's roughly like $95, they say.
For 5th floor?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know because
Okay, I don't know either. But I actually expected more. I was kind of like, oh, well, that's not as bad as I expected.
Okay.
But that was just a fraction of the cost.
Uh-huh.
Then she gets there, and there's like all this unofficial merchandise, as she says, in a sea of fans outside the stadium.
The merch.
Right, before you even get to the
Okay.
gates. This is like fan-made merchandise. She spent $300
Just on the merch?
on merch.
So she spent more than double or about, or triple actually on
Yeah.
the merch.
Yeah.
And then the seats.
Yeah, and the seats were like, roughly about $100. Okay, some of the fan-made merchandise include cheering kits. You know what this is?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yes.
I guess this is how the cheering kits were explained. So
Yes.
for like $13 a pop, you get a cloth banner that has the face of your favorite singer on it.
Okay. Your bias, as they say.
You know this.
그 정도는 알죠.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
So her bias is Joshua Hong, if you're familiar. Okay. Her
I'm
bias.
pretending to know.
Okay. He's the.
피디님 아세요?
I think he's.
Okay.
I think he's born in L.A. as far as I understand. Yeah, he's the
we heard,
U.S. born.
Yeah. Our assistant producer. Yeah. She
We've
does.
got information coming from all sides. This is great.
Okay.
Do you know what a bias wrecker is?
A what?
A bias wrecker.
Wrecker?
Yeah, bias wrecker. Do I have
뭐예요?
that right? Yeah.
What
so
is that?
That's a person, another member who perhaps is ruining your love for your devotion to your specific bias.
Oh, really?
Trying to take your attention away.
Really?
This sounds like a whole lot of thing. Yeah.
Wow, this is so interesting.
Yeah, so bias wrecker, it's somebody who's like, they tempt you away from your main bias.
Yes.
And part of the reason that this like whole bias system goes on, according to the writer, is that there is so much individual merchandise for particular singers.
차에? Is that what it's called? 차에.
Is that okay?
The bias wrecker.
신기하죠.
It's like 우리한테는 신세계.
Yes, totally. I was like,
Yes.
what is this?
I'm learning. I like. Okay, what else?
So that was the unofficial merchandise.
Okay.
To pick up her official merchandise, she had prearranged somebody to procure. And this, I've read about this stuff before
What
in
is
Korea.
this procure?
I know, it sounds like illegitimate, but it's
Yeah.
not. She pays an extra small fee to have somebody like go wait in line before the merchandise booths open even. How'd they do with like bags and stuff here?
Wow. Okay.
So that added to the cost as well. And then because there's in the K-pop fandom arena, there are people who say like, what's the best phone to get to take pictures while you're So she rented a phone. There's like a phone rental service.
That I've heard about.
Okay, so you know about this.
Yeah, like the new
20 times zoom.
Yeah, that one.
is the feature.
That feature.
So she paid $40 just to rent this phone to take pictures. But I was very proud of her because she said like she started taking pictures and video and she's like a couple songs in. I was like, I'm not even watching the show. So she kind of abandoned that. And I was like, yeah. I do kind of get bummed out when I don't go to like huge concerts like this.
Yes.
But when you see everybody just like filming and taking pictures, it's kind of like, are you even enjoying yourself? I
don't know. But then they want to kind of, just capture the moment and then
I get that.
Relive it over and over.
I get
Leslie
that.
has a message for you.
Go ahead.
She's talking about, membership for pre-sale codes. Her 17 bias is Uzi. And then Casey, there's another one. Those that live rent-free in your head.
Oh. Okay. So that means you're such a fan that...
Yeah. They're just over and over. You're just thinking about them constantly.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool.
You're just like, okay.
It's a whole new thing I'm like, yeah, I've been to concerts. I have. But it's a whole process. And it costs, like if you total it up, she spent about $500 in total.
That's
right?
dedication.
Yeah. And she said she'd gladly do it again.
Our little birdie, did you want to say something? Didn't you know?
Is 5 about right? Is that like...
I've heard of people spending more.
No
but
kidding.
That sounds pretty reasonable. I mean, like, the average. Well, you can check out these stories that Casey mentioned in detail. So thank you for bringing us really interesting stories today, as you always do.
My pleasure.
And of course, we'll check in with you next week. So thank you.
All right, I'm going to go get some Oriental medicine, as they say, Korean medicine.
Korean medicine.
Korean medicine.
The 한의사, they said it's officially Korean medicine. That's
cool.
what they asked for. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for correcting me.
Bye, Casey.
Bye.
It's time to wrap up hour number 1. We have more in hour number 2 as well. How about this song by 17? 음악의 신. So enjoy. I'll be back at 8.
세상에 음악의 신이 있다면 고맙다고 안아주고 싶어. 영통을 남기세 작은가 몸이 달라도 상관없는 거면 말해 그래도 음악이 있다면 웃기는 지금부터는 아주 친한 친구 너와 내가 모르는 사이여도 춤출 수 있어 You can mix it up right Sugar red spice brass sound and guitar 내가 잠을 다 내 이름이래 쿵치박치 또한 내 이름인가 이것 또한 나를 위한 소린가 Drum bass, piano, bass line 무엇이 우리의 행복인가 모이나 춤을 춰 노래하자 이것이 우리의 행복이다 다시 한 번 더 음악은 우리의 숨이니까 위험하지 않아 계속 들이키자 Everybody 귀를 기울여보자 세상에 음악의 신이 있다면 이건 당신께 주는 메시지 음정 하나하나 모아보자 저 노래해 기분 네가 내주네 코치박치 코치박치에 코치박치 코치박치에 코치박치 코치박치에 행복한 밤에 지금이야 생각해보면 소마저먹이야 저마다의 공짜 마치 걷는 살다가 네 발소리 맞춰도 하니 무엇이 우리의 행복인가 모이나 춤을 춰 노래하자 이것이 우리의 행복이다 다시 한 번 더 음악은 우리의 숨이니까 위험하지 않아 계속 들이키자 Everybody 귀를 기울여보자 세상에 음악의 신이 있다면 이건 당신께 주는 메시지 음정 하나하나 모아보자 춤춰 노래해 기분이 끝내주네 코치박치 코치박치에 코치박치 코치박치에
안녕하세요. 현대해상 모델
신차 상담에서 애프터 서비스까지 원스톱 서비스를 만나다. 랜드로버 공식 리테일러 HS 효성 프리미어 모터스.
가족이 함께할 수 있는 초록빛 가득한 공원, 세계 시민 누구나 함께 어울리는 문화공간, 그리고 모두가 안전하게 이동 가능한 교통 인프라가 갖추어져 있는 곳. 이곳은 글로벌 허브 도시 부산입니다. 일상을 풍요롭게 만들어주는 문화와 예술, 따뜻한 나눔을 실천하는 복지, 모두가 안심하고 차별 없이 누리는 안전한 도시 기반 시설로 우리의 일상은 안전하고 행복해집니다. 시민의 행복을 생각합니다. 시민의 행복이 쌓여갑니다. 이 캠페인은 행복도시 부산의 가치를 높이는 부산시설공단이 함께합니다.
혹시 지금 운전 중이신가요? 어린이 교통사고 피해자 수는 지난 3년 평균 약 9만 명. 특히 어린이 보호구역 안전기준이 강화된 이후에도 어린이 보호구역 내 사고는 지속적으로 발생하고 있습니다. 스쿨존에서는 반드시 시속 30km 이하 서행, 스쿨존 내 불법 주정차 금지, 차량 출발 전 앞뒤 좌우 살피는 습관으로 어린이가 안전한 도시를 만듭니다. 참, 운전 중 휴대전화 사용은 모두에게 위험합니다. 우리 모두를 위한 교통안전, 나부터 실천하면 모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀 수 있는 부산. 아이 키우기 좋은 도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, BNK 부산은행과 함께합니다.
Walk in Peace in Busan, a special event for the 80th anniversary of the United Nations in Busan.
부산 영어방송이 유엔 창설 80주년을 기념하는 평화 걷기 대회 특집 중계방송 Walk and Peace in 부산을 마련합니다.
Busan, a walking-friendly city. Walking in harmony with yourself, the earth, and the world around you. People from all walks of life will come together at Yongho Starlight Park to take a step toward peace on September 27th. From the live show September 27th at 11 a.m., feel the energy step by step. On-site interviews with participants and a studio interview with a walking expert. And special gifts for our listeners. Don't miss it!
2025 평화 걷기 대회 특집 방송 Walk and Peace in 부산 9월 27일 토요일 오전 11시. 자세한 내용은 부산 영어방송 홈페이지에서 확인하세요.
The time is now 8 o'clock.
It's now 8 o'clock. This is hour number 2 of Morning Wave in Busan. This is Spotlight News. President Lee Jae-myung vows to resolve security risks and reform South Korean market. President Lee Jae-myung vowed to overhaul the South Korean market in an attempt to attract global investors at an event on Wall Street. He spoke at the Korea Investment Summit at the New York Stock Exchange on Thursday local time, saying that his government will resolve the geopolitical risk with North Korea and implement investor-friendly policies while introducing stricter punishment against market manipulation. The president also said that North Korea seems to have secured enough nuclear weapons to sustain its regime, but emphasized South Korea's overwhelming military strength and the administration's peace efforts to address security uncertainties and boost investor confidence. Parties clash over government reorganization bill. The opposition People Power Party, or PPP, is currently holding a filibuster to block the passage of the revised Government Organization Act as a ruling Democratic Party, or DP, is expected to vote to end the filibuster later today. The government reorganization bill seeks to eliminate the prosecution's headquarters and replace them with two separate agencies in charge of investigations and indictments. The PPP immediately launched the filibuster to stop the vote, which has been continuing through the night. The DP, however, has 3/5 majority required to stop the filibuster after 24 hours, and the bill is expected to pass later today. Ex-President Yoon refuses attendance at 11 consecutive trials. Former President Yoon Suk-yeol has failed to show up to his insurrection trial for the 11th consecutive time, as he is due to attend the first hearing of a new trial today. Criminal Court Division 25 at the Seoul Central District Court decided to continue the trial in absentia, adding that the defendant bears the potential disadvantages for his continued absence. In the meantime, a new trial surrounding obstruction and abuse of authority charges related to Yoon's martial law imposition is due to start today, with the first hearing to be broadcast to the public. Yoon's defense will also request that he be released on bail. Suicide figures hit 13-year high last year. The number of deaths by suicide in South Korea reached a 13-year high last year, with suicide being the top cause of death for those in their 40s for the first time. A total of 14,872 people took their own lives last year, marking an increase of 6.3% from a year earlier. This figure comes to 29.1 suicides for every 100,000 people, or more than double the OECD average. The suicide rate increased for those in their 30s through 60s, which experts see as a serious problem and a reflection of livelihood struggles on the economically active population. Trump signs off on TikTok deal. U.S. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order approving a deal to keep short-form video platform TikTok to continue operating in the U.S., adding that Chinese President Xi Jinping has approved the deal as well. Under the deal, China must still approve a new joint venture company that will oversee TikTok's U.S. business, while ByteDance holds less than 20% of the stock. Vice President J.D. Vance said the deal ensures that American investors will actually control the algorithm, but much is unknown about the deal. And this was Spotlight News. It is time for Haley for Wa글와글. She's back.
Good morning.
Okay. Well, for our first story, after a decades-long battle, non-medical professionals in South Korea can finally legally perform, create tattoos?
Do tattoos?
I don't even know
what's the verbiage.
Yeah,
Right. So the National Assembly, this is a major decision, yesterday passed the revised Tattooist Act, 문신사법, and this allows non-medical professionals to give tattoos. I believe that is the terminology. So this bill passed with 195 yeas and 7 nays out of 202 lawmakers who were present. So under the bill, we're defining the acts of tattooing as both the actual tattoos, 문신, that you would see, but also these so-called semi-permanent cosmetics, 반영구 화장, like eyebrows, eyeliners, I believe even lip color as well.
Okay.
So those, and then who is a tattooist? Well, it's those who pass national exams and acquire licenses, so that will have to be established as well.
Okay.
Can be designated tattooists, but they may not perform tattoo removals. That must still be done by a doctor.
Okay.
Also, tattoos to minors without consent of parents or guardians is prohibited, and tattooists will be required to receive sanitation and safety training. They also must keep records of the dates of tattoos, what kind of ink they use, the amount, body part, and size. By the way, the law will go into 2 years after it is announced, with the grace period of another 2 years in terms of registration.
Right. So for our non-Korean listeners, they might be wondering, well, why are we talking about this? This is the end of a really long battle.
We're talking about 33 years in the making, where for this time, giving tattoos in South Korea was illegal. Having tattoos wasn't illegal, but basically tattooists and tattoo artists were under scrutiny unless tattoos were given by a doctor. But really, no one knows a doctor who performs tattoos.
No.
This law was created in an era when tattoos were associated heavily with gangs and criminal activity.
Yes.
But experts estimate that millions of South Koreans have tattoos. The vast majority, though, they are those semi-permanent cosmetics. And a 1992 Supreme Court ruling viewed tattooing as a medical treatment because it cited potential health risks associated with tattoo needles and inks. So under this, tattoo artists, at least on paper, faced up to 5 years in prison or 50 million won in fines. This in reality was rarely applied. Judges never really enforced the sentencing. However, some tattooists did purposefully get fined in order to be able to take this up to the chain of the courts.
Yes. So once again, a change after 33 years. So there you have it. Well, last year there was this fatal accident where a car fell into a sinkhole in Seoul, but we're now finding out that the husband who lost his wife in this accident was almost charged
with negligence resulting in death for a sinkhole. Right. So a bit of background. An elderly couple, they were in a car accident or in the car that fell into this massive sinkhole that formed in Yeonhee-dong in Seodaemungu district in Seoul. This was August 29th of last year. The sinkhole itself was 6 meters wide, 4 meters long, and 2.5 meters deep.
Yes.
So this passenger, a woman in her 70s, she died. And the driver, her husband, who's in his 80s, he also sustained serious injuries. However, the police actually passed the husband as a driver to the prosecution for failure to drive carefully, basically negligence. And they based this on evidence that other cars that were driving in front of them, they were able to go around the sinkhole, claiming that this is circumstantial evidence that this elderly driver did not fulfill his duty as a driver to look around his surroundings, finding him partially negligent.
So how did the prosecutors see this case?
Right, they actually did not agree with the police. They received the case, however, the prosecution deemed that taking a comprehensive look, it was excessive to charge him with a crime, and they decided to suspend the charges, so 기소유예. The police also looked into the cause of the sinkhole, but they closed the case internally, saying that they didn't find any criminality or failure in responsibility with those who were charged with maintaining the road.
Well, now we know what happened, at least with the charges that I guess they could have been filed, but they didn't.
Right.
Well, up next, I want to throw a question out there to our waivers. Are you going anywhere during Chuseok? And if you are taking the train, have you been able to get tickets?
Right. I mean, Casey just talked about how it's war. It's battle to get K-pop tickets. Well, TX tickets and SRT tickets,
Same
also
thing.
another war, especially during the holidays.
Yes.
So, and this might be one of the reasons why Seoul's Suseok police caught 6 individuals who allegedly used or tried to use these macro machine-run programs to try to buy up SRT tickets in bulk ahead of the holidays. So these individuals either created themselves or downloaded these so-called macro programs to repeatedly log on to the SRT reservation system. This, by the way, was earlier this year between January 16th and 30th, so Lunar New Year, to mass buy train tickets.
Yes.
The police caught 64 million cases of macro connections, not tickets, but attempt to connect onto the server.
Okay.
So SR, which operates SRT, they requested the police to investigate the case after they found evidence of 9 of their members attempting to use this program. So the police say that one person used the macro program at least 1 million times. So it was 1 million per person.
Yes.
But interestingly, they didn't actually succeed in getting the tickets.
Really?
Which I want to know more the details of that particular technological whatever that was. So the police concluded that they actually did not make any profits from scalp tickets.
Yes, and that's for this particular case, which isn't to say that there aren't scalp tickets out there.
Right, so this isn't to say these are the only 6 people that ever use macro programs or other means to acquire tickets. So Korail is cracking down on scalp tickets, 안표, ahead of the Chuseok holidays, or any resale of the train tickets at a price that is higher than regular pricing.
Yes.
So this is actually illegal, by the way, selling scalp tickets that are higher than their actual price. So, and you can be subject to up to 10 million won in fines, 1,000만 won. So what Korail is doing is that they're collaborating with those secondhand use platforms to crack down on keywords, certain keywords like, train tickets or something like that. And those suspected of illegal trading will not only, their posts will be deleted, of course, but their IDs might get blocked as well.
Okay. Well, for our final story, K-wave is spreading everywhere to things like, even Korean saunas. And we mentioned during our text topic, Korean medicine,
Korean medicine. So I'm a fan of acupuncture. I actually brought my American, fully American, non-ethnically Korean friends to acupuncture, and they loved it. So one reporter who went to a popular Hanok-style 찜질방 on a weeknight said that about half the customers were non-Korean.
Yes.
And I actually have props ready. All right. Cue camera.
Here we go.
Oh, it's horrible. All right, there we go. There we go.
You can't hear the bell.
Well, all right.
Oh,
All right. So these foreigners and Koreans alike, they're all partaking in this sheep or lamb head towel.
Yes.
They're eating baked eggs and drinking shike. The whole package.
Yes.
Right? So Korean sauna.
Why did you bring the shike today?
I know. The convenience store was closed. Right.
Yes.
So Korean sauna is also a very popular video keyword on streaming channels. Some calling it the most relaxing 24-hour challenge because you can spend the night there and they are pretty cheap modes of accommodation.
Right.
So definitely soothing. Also, people love the Korean body scrub.
I
Right?
love.
The scrub towels are also a popular souvenir. Fun fact, we call them iteri towel. They're actually created in Busan, in a Busan-based company. So come and get it from where it all started. And there are people sharing information on Korean medicine clinics that can speak English. And one doctor in one of these clinics said 1 out of 6 patients is foreigners.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, we have a lively reaction going on. 귀여워요. And people with their emoticons of smiling. And so, yes, I swear we're a serious news show.
Yeah.
But not
sometimes.
for this moment. It's Friday.
It's Friday.
So thank you for all the news and for, of course, the prop. And then we'll check in with you on Monday. But hey, tomorrow, I'll see you there.
Right. So
That's right.
이렇게까지 했는데 안 오신다고요? 정말?
너무한다.
정말?
All right. Thank you, Haley.
Bye.
Yes, we love our little lamb, Haley. We're going to get to your traffic and weather. It's time for your traffic update. First up, let's talk about 가야대로. There's an accident from the Gaya 굴다리 to the 동이대 어귀 intersection right now. Also, slow moving on 번영로 from the Taeyeon ramp to the Gwangan tunnel. It is congested from the Dongso overpass from Kamjeon ramp to the Old Gaegum tollgate, and it's backed up on Hakjanglo from the Busan Detention Center to Hakjang intersection. Currently, it's 22 degrees Celsius under partially cloudy skies. I do see the sun peeping out though. The daytime high, it's going to go up to 30. It is raining in the southern area and Jeju. However, for tomorrow, we have an expected low of 21 and a high of 28. That's all I'm going to say. Just a little cloudy, but no rain. Sunday, a low of 20 and a high of 24. There's a chance of rain in the evening on Sunday. This was your traffic and weather. This is your special interview. I'm sure you, the listeners out there, our audience, you are familiar with the Nobel Prize. There are several categories. Those prizes are awarded to people whose work brings the greatest benefit to humankind, according to, the Nobel Prize Committee. But have you heard of the Ig Nobel Prize? There's a playful twist on the Nobel, and it celebrates research that at first might make people laugh or smile, and then I really think it makes people think. And guess what? It's all backed by solid science and research. So the Ig Nobels mark their 35th year this year, and we are joined by a special guest who was honored on September 18th for a landmark study on flavor and breastfeeding. So let's meet her right now. Dr. Julie Monella, member of the Monell Chemical Senses Center. So first of all, hello and congratulations on you receiving the Ig Nobel in biology this year.
Oh, thank you. It really was a fun event, and it's a pleasure to talk to you about it.
Yes, yes. So I hear that you co-conducted this study, this 1991 study. And I guess the title of it, it's basically, I'm going to read it, maternal diet alters the sensory qualities of human milk and the nursling's behavior, along with Dr. Gary Beauchamp. So what inspired this research, and why did you, I hear you chose garlic specifically. So can we talk about this?
The big question is, why do we like the foods that we do? And so as experimentalists who were trained in behavior and the biological basis of behavior, it was well known in other animals. Cows prefer to thrive on wild garlic, and their milk is flavored. There was a big research industry, but there wasn't any research in humans. So we set out to ask the question, does what mothers eat flavor her milk, and can the baby detect these flavors? We knew that the senses were developed by the time that the baby was born. And so we conducted an experimental study. We chose garlic for the reason that it had been studied in other animals. And lo and behold, when lactating mothers ate garlic, their breast milk took on its aroma. And at the same time, at least in the States and in several other countries, women were advised to eat bland diets when they're breastfeeding, for fear that the baby was going to reject the milk. Well, on the contrary, the babies did not reject their milk. They nursed longer. They savored the flavor when it contained garlic compared to when it didn't have these garlic notes. And when you think about it, it's one of the first ways that mothers teach babies about what foods they are eating. We went on to discover that these same flavors get into amniotic fluid. So that baby that had probably experienced garlic long before they experienced it in mother's milk, if their mothers ate that food, or in cultures such as the Korean food culture that contains garlic and is part of an identity.
Absolutely. So were there any particular results that really surprised you?
I think because the folklore, I mean, basically the animal model studies would have said, no, you shouldn't have been surprised. But that the baby savored and really liked the garlic. Then we went on to do almost 4 decades of research uncovering what other flavors get transmitted, how babies learn, other sensitive periods of learning.
Yes.
And so, that's why at the end of the talk, I think one of the big take-home messages, celebrate mothers and don't be afraid of garlic.
I love it. I love it. So, beyond garlic, though, what other flavors have you seen transmitted through breast milk, or as you mentioned, amniotic fluid? And how do they affect the infants, their responses?
So a wide variety of flavors get in. I don't know of science usually doesn't report negative findings. We really haven't found any that didn't get in.
Okay.
Vanilla, carrot. It's not just what she eats, it's what she breathes. If a woman smokes, that flavor of tobacco gets in her milk. Alcohol, the flavor of alcohol will get in. Mint, a wide variety of really flavor principles that define a number of foods. And it's the first way babies learn, as we all learn, through experience and repeated exposure. And it's the first way their babies are getting these sensory cues when they're in the womb and at the breast, telling them, these are the food my mom is eating. These are the foods that are out in the environment, most likely the foods my mom is going to feed me.
Yes.
These are the foods that she has access to, but probably more importantly, these are the foods she likes.
So did you notice any differences in how individual babies responded? Because you used the word savor earlier in terms of, having garlic in a mother's breast milk, so a baby kind of savored that flavor. Were there any differences in how some of the babies responded to not just garlic, but other types of flavor as well?
I mean, you ask really good questions that really relate to how do you ask the baby the question? How do you design an experiment? And so we always would look at how the baby responded to the flavor versus like control day. And how that works is you look at do the majority of babies, does the group respond differently? There are other, we have done a lot of work with alcohol, and they're contrary to the folklore, doesn't make more milk, and babies don't drink more breast milk. There it was effect not on the flavor of the milk, but on the effect that it was having on the mother and milk production. I think it's one of the first ways infants learn about flavors and foods. It's not the only way, but it's really probably the first way in which they learn about the foods of their culture, of their people, of their family.
Yes. And so in terms of early flavor exposure or infant feeding, what is the biggest takeaway? What should we as parents or caregivers know about flavors and how infants respond to such flavors?
Well, I think one important thing is the baby is open to learning. I think women, to get their babies off to a healthy start, eat the healthy foods that you enjoy that are part of, women who are being advised not to eat certain foods in which don't eat garlic, in which garlic was a celebrated ingredient in their culture, was just not founded and not evidence-based. So enjoy the foods and the flavors you enjoy.
Yes.
And then gradually introduce those to your child as they grow. Because food is much more than calories or nutrients. It identifies who we are. Language is long lost long before food habits when you go into a new country. And so it really is a part of our identity. And the baby is learning about their identity, their food culture, before their first taste of foods. I mean, I think I'm in awe of the biology of the mother and child, and I think this really celebrates that early bond.
Yes, indeed. Well, before I let you go, I do want to ask you, Dr. Manila, do you have anything else in the pipeline in terms of your research, or are you going to continue along this path of looking at flavors and how they affect babies?
Yeah, we're doing a lot of work in learning how children learn about food. Some of my current research is also looking at the proclivity that children have for sweet taste and added sugar intake, and can we teach them to accept foods that are lower in added sugar? And so I hope that will also provide knowledge for parents.
Well, we look forward to hearing about this. But thank you so much for coming on air with us once again.
Thank you.
We do appreciate it. Bye, Dr. Manila.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
This was Dr. Julie Manila, and yes, she received the Ig Nobel in biology this year with about how babies, their sensory qualities of human milk, obviously from their mother, and also whether they, she said, really savored garlic. You might think that's counterintuitive, like maybe the baby might not like the garlic, but apparently not so in the mother's breast milk. So very interesting to hear about this line of research. We're going to take a short song break, so here it is. This is How Deep Is Your Love by the Bee Gees.
Morning sun, I feel you touch me in the pouring rain, and the moment that you wander far from me, I wanna feel you in my arms again. And you come to me on a summer breeze, keep me warm in your love, then you softly leave, and it's me you need to show. You're the light in my deepest, darkest doubt. You're my savior when I fall. And you may not think I care for you when you know down inside that I really do. And it's me you need to show. How deep is your love? Is your love? How deep is your love? I really need to learn. 'Cause we're living in a world of fools, breaking us down when they all should let us be. We belong to you and me. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 Can you come to me on a summer breeze? Keep me warm in your love and your softly rain. And it's me you need to show. How deep is your love? Is your love? How deep is your love? I really need to learn. 'Cause we're living in a world of fools, breaking us down when they all should let us be. We belong to you and me. How deep is your love? How deep is your love? I really need to learn. 'Cause we're living in a world of fools, breaking us down when they all should let us be. We belong to you and me.
BEFM Morning Wave in Busan Fall Outdoor Special Stage. Fall for English-friendly Busan. What does it mean to live in an English-friendly Busan? And what role does English play as Busan rises as a global hub city?
올 가을 여러분에게 영어하기 편한 도시 부산으로 가는 길을 안내합니다.
This fall, on September 27th, Saturday at 3 p.m., join us for a special outdoor stage event at F1963 Open Square, featuring a thought-provoking panel with a professional English educator, Lee Bo-young, British broadcaster Peter Bint, K-pop idol Aaron, and me, Catherine. Plus, enjoy a special live performance by Busan's English-friendly city ambassador Kim Jo-han and singer-songwriter 커피 소년. BEFM Morning Wave in Busan Fall Outdoor Special Stage. Fall for English-friendly Busan.
9월 27일 토요일 오후 3시 F1963 오픈스퀘어에서 여러분을 기다립니다.
Welcome back, everybody. So I do want to read some of your messages. Leslie's saying, oh, I wish I could be there in person to support you at the outdoor event. Leslie says, I am with you in spirit. We forgive you. You're in Colorado, so that might be just a little much asking you to fly in all the way just for this event. But I know you're coming real soon to Busan, so I'll see you then, Leslie, so it's okay. 진리 says this, 요즘은 약침의 효과 짱이에요. 감기 시작할 때는 평소 잘 안 먹는 비타민 여러 개 먹어요. 따뜻한 국밥도 먹어요. Ooh. And so they're talking about a specific type of acupuncture that seems to work for them. And then she says when she gets a cold that she usually doesn't take a lot of vitamins, but then I guess she's down in the vitamins when she feels like the inklings of a cold. And she also enjoys 국밥. Oh, 국밥 is so good. Do you need to have a cold to enjoy? So some people really enjoy the 국밥, others don't. But yes, that might help you get over your cold. Other people chiming in about the way they get over a cold or when they're feeling under the weather. Let's see. Blanc says, 침 맞아본 적 없는데 찔린다고 몸이 나아지는지 궁금해요. So they write that they have never gotten acupuncture and they wonder, if I'm being poked by like needles, will that make me feel better? So I think it is a very much a case by case or person, by person kind of scenario because some people really enjoy getting acupuncture. They think it helps them. Other people, not a huge fan. It's okay. That's your prerogative. So I'm very curious as to what Professor Andrew Miller is going to say on this topic. So I'll be back with him in just a moment. It is time for Global Affairs. We have Professor Andrew Millard in the studio. Good morning,
Good
안교수님.
morning.
So I got to ask you a text topic. Have you ever gotten acupuncture or are partaken or had like 한의학, the 한의원 prescribed medicine?
Okay, before I answer this question, I'm disappointed with Leslie.
Oh, why?
Well, she said she can't come. And you said, well, she's all right because she's in America.
Right.
I disagree.
You
she should be
disagree?
here. Leslie,
Right now.
Leslie, buy a ticket now. You still have time. I want to see you tomorrow.
Professor Miller will be paying for your ticket. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Stay at home, Leslie. Stay at home.
Yes.
No. So as for the acupuncture, the 침, 저도 맞아본 적이 없습니다.
맞아본 적
I've
없어요.
never had acupuncture. Firstly, I'm really scared of needles. I'm one of those, if I go to the hospital and if I have a blood test or an injection,
what happens?
I literally have to cover my eyes. I sit there and look away and cover my eyes.
진짜 for real?
I really.
Okay.
It never really hurts.
It's
so it must be psychological.
It has to be, right?
But I can't look. So I really don't like needles. So the thought of acupuncture.
It bothers you.
Yeah. I think would make me worse. I think I'd go crazy. But my wife is a pharmacist. So medicine in our house is totally different to England.
Okay.
So if you go to our house, we have like a small pharmacy in our kitchen. Like in
Well,
one
she's
cupboard.
a pharmacist, yeah.
And like in England, if you're sick, we really don't take that much medicine.
Right.
Like even if you go to the doctor, they'll prescribe just a few little pills. But you come to the hospital in Korea and you leave with a bag full of those little pouches of tablets.
I thoroughly understand what you're talking about. Like in the States too. Like you never go to the doctor for a cold or even the flu.
Exactly.
You go to the local pharmacy and there are like aisles. Aisles of like, it's like cough, fever, sore throat. I mean, you have to go through like and find your symptoms and then pick and choose,
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
Right, but it's so different here,
So
right?
it's different, but no, acupuncture is not for me.
So what are you going to do on Monday? Because you shared that you're going to be going through the whole shebang of testing and
my
health
big
checkup.
overall medical.
They're going to be taking your blood.
Oh, they are.
Are you going to be
honestly,
there?
I'm already
stressed
about it.
Oh, really?
So I think my blood pressure is going to be higher than
피디님
normal.
왜 이렇게 좋아하세요? 안 교수님 뭘 무서워한다니까 되게 좋아하시네. She's like thoroughly enjoying it. She's so happy. Look at her. She
Okay,
can't stop
I'm not coming
smiling.
tomorrow. That's it.
That's it.
Leslie can take my spot.
He's canceling on you. Well, I'm sure you're not the only one. For anybody who's going through like a battery of tests or their annual checkup, it's stressful.
It is stressful.
It is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to jump into our corner. What do you have for us today?
Well, I guess a little more serious topic. As you know, this week has been the UN General Assembly and the UN Security Council meetings. So I thought we'd just talk a little bit about that, especially on Tuesday night. I don't know, did you stay up to watch the speeches?
I'll be honest.
You didn't? Oh,
I
no.
didn't because I got to wake up at 4:30. So.
All right. Oh, you could have just stayed awake all night.
No.
And watched them all.
No, thank you.
So,
yes.
So yeah, Tuesday night, I did stay up.
Oh.
I thought it was going to be on earlier. This is E.J. Myung's speech. Unfortunately, Donald Trump, he waffled on a little bit too long.
Just a little bit.
Yes, just a little.
Just a little.
Just a little.
Yes. And then?
So I did stay up and watched it. I thought overall, and maybe our viewers can also give their comments on what they thought of the speech and Donald Trump's speech. Interesting to hear about that. But I thought E.J. Myung's speech was overall pretty safe. He didn't really talk about too many issues that Korea isn't involved in.
Okay.
So he didn't mention the Ukraine war directly. He didn't mention Gaza and Israel, Palestinian state.
Right.
So those issues where Korea is sort of on the fence, a little bit more neutral, he avoided speaking about those directly.
Yes.
So maybe this is his pragmatic diplomacy coming in. But I thought that was quite interesting.
Okay.
But he did talk about Korea returning to the international stage completely.
Right.
Korea being back he mentioned a new Korean republic. I was a little unsure what he meant when he said a new Korean republic. Because for me, there hasn't been much of a change. It's the same Korea. It's just a very democratic Korea. So I wasn't really sure what he meant with the new Korea. But that was interesting. And he mentioned climate change goals. So later on this year, he said he's going to introduce some new NDCs. So it's, just for those who aren't sure what NDC is.
What are NDCs?
So an NDC is what's called a nationally determined contribution. So this is to do with climate change targets.
Okay.
So each country pretty much has agreed, well, apart from America these days, that climate change is real and they're going to try and reduce carbon dioxide emissions and so on. But each country can decide by themselves, based on their own economy, based on their own technologies, how much they're going to reduce the emissions over the next few years. So this is what we mean by an NDC.
Okay.
And to be honest, in the past, South Korea's not had the most ambitious targets.
True.
So it'll be interesting to see this year just how ambitious those targets are.
Okay.
So we'll see that later on in the year. He then also talked about North Korean relations with this new, they call it the END initiative, END. So maybe you've been talking about this.
But
week.
why don't you remind our listeners, what does END, this acronym, stand for?
So it stands for exchange, normalization,
and
denuclearization.
Right.
Easy way to remember, sounds like Andy. So,
yes.
That's how I sort of tell my students.
Okay. Include that in your lecture. Yes.
So for this one, again, this is my personal opinion.
Okay.
Again, viewers can disagree. The exchange part, so the cooperation with North Korea, I think that's fine. It's always good to have engagement and dialogue and communication.
Right.
And then normalization, so 정상화, again, very important to build a sort of lasting relationship. But in his speech, he mentioned that we have to take a realistic approach to relations with North Korea.
Okay.
And by continually mentioning denuclearization, this is not a realistic approach. For the past, 15, 20, 30 years, North Korea has been very adamant, very firm that they are not going to denuclearize.
Sure.
And so anytime we mention denuclearization, North Korea is not going to say, perfect, let's go and try and negotiate.
I see.
Especially now because they have a much stronger relationship with Russia and China and Belarus and Iran, that sort of group.
Yes.
They have zero incentive to come and talk anyway. So when we're saying, or when E.J. Myung's government is saying, we're going to have exchange normalization, but still denuclearization is kind of the end goal, North Korea is not going to sort of come to the table.
I see. Yes.
So for me, that was a little disappointing.
The denuclearization angle.
Right. But
okay.
But that's my opinion. Again, people may disagree with that. And the last point was also the UN Security Council meeting, which they had yesterday.
Yes.
Well, yesterday Korean time. It was on Wednesday American time. So this one was about AI.
Yes.
And South Korea, over the past couple of years, seems to have been taking more of a leadership role in AI. So I don't know, do you use AI a lot?
AI here and there. Yeah, I mean, in little bits and pieces. I think many of us use generative AI with our chat thing. It's very commonly used. I use it as a tool. I don't rely on it because I just feel like it's not 100%. It's not there. And the creators, they also have said, I mean, it's a tool. You shouldn't rely on it like 100% because sometimes it lies. Hallucinations, they call it, right? Yes.
So I also very occasionally use it, only for very small bits of information.
Right.
But to be honest, I am not technologically minded.
Okay.
I'm a very old man. In terms of technology.
We're both analog kind of people.
Yes.
We'll just say.
I'm very happy with a pen and paper.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah, I still don't know how to use my phone. But it's the cheapest phone out there, literally. But anyway, South Korea,
yes.
Lee Jae-myung, they are now looking at AI and saying, this is definitely an area, an industry where South Korea has the ability to become a global leader. Okay. So this is what the Security Council meeting was focused on yesterday. So it was held Wednesday afternoon, like I said, US time. The first time that a Korean president has chaired a meeting. So again, made it a little bit more significant.
Right.
And also, the South Koreans, they will leave the Security Council at the end of December.
That's right.
So very important that they take this opportunity to really set sort of a tone, give a position, put themselves on the global stage, and like I said, on AI. And he focused also on the fact that in the future, the world will be shaped by AI, whether you like it or not. So if you're like us and don't really like using it.
We're resisting as much as possible.
At the end of the day,
it's
in
futile.
the future, we're going to be using more and more AI.
That's true.
And he said this is a double-edged sword. So, of course, there's very positive things we can take from AI. So he said it's like a tiger cub right now. Just a little baby.
Cute.
A cute baby. But in the future, it can either grow to become a beast, an uncontrollable beast, which is just going to take over.
Yes.
Or, he said, it could be a cute little friend like, is it Derpy? Is that right?
Yeah, Derpy, like we mentioned.
Derpy from K-pop Demon Hunters.
Right.
I still have not seen that. So I'm not entirely sure of the reference to that one.
Oh, you are one of the few people who have not seen it.
Yes.
Are you resisting that too?
I resist everything.
Yes.
So again, that's what he's saying. In the future, it could go either way. So right now, we really have to start setting some rules, some regulations on how to use AI, not just in Korea, but globally, so that everyone sort of advances on the same sort of pace, same sort of level.
Yes.
On the positive side, excuse me, AI could help overcome global challenges like climate change, inequality, low growth, he's saying. But if not kept in check, then it could widen this divide and, importantly, spread more disinformation.
Right.
So like you said, sometimes ChatGPT, other ones are available too. There are many out there.
Yes. Generative AI.
That's the one, yes. But they're not always 100% correct.
They're not.
And they can spread information that is wrong.
That's true.
Okay, and so this is really what one of the big focuses on, how to use AI, how to make sure everything is correct, not spreading all of these false sort of information.
And that's the thing. It's because I think more and more, especially our youth and younger people, I mean, they don't remember a time where they didn't have a tablet or a smartphone. And they grew up with those devices. And then they see something like all of these generative AI programs and they think, oh, this is like the latest thing. And they might overly rely on that type of technology. And I'm sure, as a professor, sometimes you have to warn your students like, when you're writing a paper for me or you're doing your research, you have to limit your usage because it's a tool, but it's a tool, not the tool.
Exactly. I tried to get my students to avoid using it as much as possible. But other professors really like using it. So again, there's a bit of a difference there.
Yes.
But coming back to Korea. So again, Korea has been sort of pushing this for the past couple of years. So last year, South Korea, along with the Netherlands, they were the first to put a proposal for a resolution in the UN on the use of military AI. And then also last year in Seoul, there was something called Re-AIM, which is about, again, responsible use of AI in the military. So for a while, this has been something that Seoul, South Korea has been working on.
Yes.
And like I said, this week, with Lee Jae-myung presiding over the council, this has really been their top agenda. And of course, at the end of next month, we have APEC. And again, in his speech in the General Assembly on Tuesday, he mentioned this, that there will be APEC. And again, one of the key agenda items will be the APEC AI initiative.
Yes.
So this is really something that it's not just, they're not just talking about this. There seems to be a lot of action behind this as well.
Well, I do want to thank you for going over the ins and outs of what has been covered thus far, what President Lee Jae-myung, when he addressed everybody, what was said, and going through the ins and outs of what's happening in New York right now. But it's time to say goodbye, sadly. But just until tomorrow. Yes, Professor Andrew Millard, one of our featured guests, he will be one of the panelists for our talk. So you can see him in person.
That's
tomorrow.
right, Leslie, in person.
And Leslie wrote back, I will be there next month. She's coming in October to visit us.
Okay.
We forgive you just a little. So thank you so much, and we'll check in with you tomorrow. Okay,
see you tomorrow.
All right, everybody, just in case you have been living under a little rock, just in case you miss all the spots that we've been playing, tomorrow, D-Day is coming. What's happening is we're having a 공개방송, a live stage outdoor event. It's happening tomorrow, September 27th at 3 p.m. at F1963, F1963에서 합니다. And you can check out the full array of guests we have for you. We have, of course, 가수 커피소년 and Kim Jo-won. They will be featured. Also, we have Lee Bo-young. She's kind of considered the representative English educator here in Korea. Peter Bint is going to be coming down as well. And we have a singer, Aron from New East. He's going to be on the panel as well. And as I just mentioned, of course, Andrew Millard, Professor Extraordinaire. He will be there tomorrow as well. As will I. I will be hosting the entire event. So it's all about like community and just conversation and communication with all of you as citizens and visitors of Busan. I hope to see you tomorrow. We will also be live streaming on YouTube for those of you who can't make it. It's okay if you can't. I forgive you. I will be taking notes and checking off who's there and who's. I'm just kidding. Not really, though. So we can hold a grudge. Here's our final song for today to take us out. And if you want to hear this live, I hear he's going to sing this live tomorrow. 사랑에 빠지고 싶다 by Kim Jo-won. This will be also performed live tomorrow. See you all, if not tomorrow, on Monday. Have a great weekend. Bye, everybody.
운동을 하고 열심히 일하고 주말엔 영화도 챙겨보곤 해. 서점에 들러 책 속에 빠져서 낯선 세상에 가슴 설레지. 이런 인생 정말 괜찮아 보여. 난 너무 잘 살고 있어. 근데 왜 너무 외롭다. 난 눈물이 난다. 내 인생은 이토록 화려한데 고독이 온다. 넌 나에게 묻는다. 너는 이 순간 진짜 행복 내게 나를 너무 사랑해주는 그런 사람이 있어. 근데 왜 너무 외롭다. 난 눈물이 난다. 내 인생은 이토록 화려한데 고독이 온다. 넌 나에게 묻는다. 너는 이 순간 진짜 행복하니? 난 대답한다. 난 너무 외롭다. 내가 존재하는 이유는 뭘까? 사랑이 뭘까? 난 그게 참 궁금해. 사랑하면서 난 또 외롭다. 사는 게 뭘까? 왜 이렇게 외롭니?
Your best choice. BEFM Busan 영어 방송.